Hello, my dear friends. Hello, my name is Raymond Aaron, New York Times top 10 bestselling author. But this is not about me, and it's not about writing books. This is about an opportunity to have your mind focused, to have your mindset clarified and directed powerfully by the friend of mine who has possibly the strongest mind of anyone that I know. And I'm going to bring him on right now so that I can embarrass the daylights out of him when I introduce him, because I do such a strong introduction. Here we go. And here he is, the world
Hey,
famous Mark McKoy.
how you
But
doing, Raymond?
you may not have heard the name. You may have heard the name of Jack Canfield and Bob Proctor. However, when you hear what this gentleman has done, you will be shocked. And well, should I tell your story or should you tell your story?
I think you're better at it than I am.
Well, after I tell your story, will you just correct any errors?
Deal.
Okay. So when he was young, he wanted to be a sprinter because he's got the body for it and the legs for it, and he's really fast. And his coach said, everybody wants to be a sprinter. There's no room on the team. Be a high hurdler, 110-meter high hurdles. Nobody wants to do that because it's really, really difficult and it hurts when you bash into a hurdle. Anyways, he tried it and he became darn good at it. So good that he qualified for the Olympics. But he couldn't go because the world boycotted the Olympics. And then he trained for another 4 years and he qualified for the Olympics. And just before the starting gun went off, he saw Pamela Anderson in the stands and his mind went somewhere else. And even though he was rated as one of the top in the world, he crossed the finish line dead last. And then, amazingly, in the sprints, he qualified for a third Olympics as like a grandfather, but he had an illness and he couldn't perform. And then he qualified for 4 Olympics in a row, but he had an ailment in his leg. I think it was plantar fasciitis. I'm not sure what it was. And he couldn't run. And then he qualified for his 5th Olympics, which is like great grandfather status. You just can't in the sprints qualify for 5 Olympics in a row. You just can't. Anyways, not only did he qualify, but he crossed the finish line first. Mark McKoy, gold medalist in the Olympics. Now that requires focus for 4 times 5, 20 years. He was focused for 20 years. Also, he broke 2 world records. One of them is still standing after how many years?
It's got to be 30, 86, 30, 34 years now.
34 years. There is no track sprint record that has ever lasted 34 years. Now you might say, well, he's got good legs. Yeah, there's a lot of people who can run and have good legs and good muscles, but it's in the mind. If you lined up 10 people with absolutely equal musculature and height and body weight and all that, it's the one with the right mind that will get to the finish line first. And I am honored that I know this wonderful man. We live in the same city. We love each other. We give ourselves giant hugs whenever we see each other. And I want you to now learn from him. Learn from the great Mark McKoy. So, Mark, first of all, how many errors did I make in my story?
You made a few, not too many. You're right along the right lines, but you've heard my story probably more than I have. I've spoken to you probably, I guess, 20 times now. So you got it down. You got it down. More or less.
The gist is correct.
It was a long journey.
Correct.
Sorry?
The gist is correct.
The gist is correct. Yeah, it was a long journey.
A long journey. The reason that most people fail is they can't keep their thinking in line even for a few days or a week. People make a New Year's resolution to lose weight. 36 hours later, a calorie comes along and they're off. So most people can't keep their concentration even for 36 hours. and to keep concentration, not only for the 11 or 12 seconds of the actual race, but for the 20 years it took to get there. We can learn a lot from this man. And I love him. I love him so much. So tell me some secrets of having the right mindset. What is it?
You know what? I've really been digging deep the last couple of years because, like you said, I've spoken for you so many times, and I tell my story about how long it takes and the dedication and all those things. But like you said, there are so many athletes that work hard and have dedication and discipline and all those things. And when you line 8 of them up in a row, what's the difference? And that's the hardest question I've had to answer. I can answer what the training's like, and what the Olympics are like, and what your diet's like, and all those things. But it's like, what was the big difference? The one thing that you love that you've got to say was that was the first gold medal for Canada for 60 years. So what was it in 60 years that all the other great athletes? Because I've trained with a lot of great, talented athletes, way better than me. Along my journey, I was one of the worst. I was the last one to get a scholarship. I was the last one to make the team. But what I've noticed in training other people now for the last 30 years since I've retired is that the main thing is excuses. And I can honestly say in the 16 years building up to Barcelona, where I won, I never missed a day of training. Didn't matter if it was snowing, didn't matter if it was raining, didn't matter if I was sick, didn't matter if I was injured. I never missed a day of training. And I can't tell you how many excuses I've heard from these younger athletes that I train now. I mean, I'm almost 60 and I'm training with these athletes, these 20-year-olds, day in and day out. And when they come to me for training one day and they have a day off and they train the next day, I do their training session 5 times a day. And they think, oh, I'm doing too much work. I'm overtraining. This is too hard. And I'm like, I'm 60 and I'm doing 5 times what you're doing. And they just don't have they like to make excuses. And I've said it's I think that was the main thing. I heard this saying, I can't remember who said it. It says, do what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it, the way you say you're going to do it. That's as simple as it. It's really simple. It's not easy, but it's really simple, because if you just always do, like if you're going to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning and you get up and it's dark and it's cold and there's snow and ice out there, you're like, well, I'm not going out there. I can't tell you how many phone calls I've had when it's downpouring. Like, Mark, are we still training today? I'm like, I'm training and I'm retired. Okay. These guys are wanting to make it to the NHL or whatever their goals are. And I'm like, I'll see your ass out there, because that's the difference between winning and not making the team.
Wow. Now, you said something, but you glossed over it really quickly. You were the first Canadian Olympic gold medal in 60 years. In all of the Olympics or in track?
In track, sorry, in track.
In track. In 60 years.
Yeah.
The first of the modern day Olympics was 1896.
Right.
And
our last medal was 1932.
Wow.
Yeah. And, like I said, I've trained people. You were talking earlier about genetics, and you know what, the Jamaicans, like, how can we compete with them? They have genetics. Well, guess what? Half of our sprint squad were Jamaican. So you can't use that as an excuse. All of our squad were West Indian.
Let me tell you something funny that's completely off topic, but you say tiny little Jamaica, it's an I don't want to say an undeveloped country, but it's a poorer country.
Yeah. And
they produce the best, most incredible sprinters in the universe. When they come to Canada, they lose.
Exactly.
Why?
Again, it's not, you talked about it earlier. Yes, you need to have certain genetics, and there's thousands of people, millions probably around the world, who have the genes to do it. They just don't have the dedication or the drive. It really comes down. I've really been thinking hard, like, why? Like, I'm not special physically. I'm special, I think, mentally. Is that I don't understand what people don't get. It's like, it's really easy. I'm actually really, really tough with as you can imagine, with my athletes. And I tell them 2 things. Number one, the first thing I always tell them when they come to me for the first time is, you have 0 chance of making it. Like, whether it's the Olympics, NHL, I'm remotivating, aren't You have zero chance. And the numbers don't lie. You're a mathematician. I know that. So if it, in general, 0.06% of the population that play hockey make it to the NHL. 0.06%. What percent is that?
6 out of 1,000.
Zero.
Oh, 0.06. 6 out of 10,000.
Yeah. So that 0%, like you got your chance is zero.
Right.
Now prove me wrong. That's what I tell them. Prove you have zero chance. Prove me wrong. So if you're making an excuse just once, you're not going to make it because there are 10,000 other kids out there wanting to take your spot. The other thing I tell them, and this goes for athletes, it goes for people who just come to be in shape or lose weight or whatever the case may be, is you've heard this saying they use in the Olympics all the time: raise the bar, raise the bar. I just tell these people, lower the bar. I'm really tough. It's like, this is what you want. I'm trying to get the screen here. This is what you're giving. So just lower the bar and you'll get it, because you ain't going to get this with what you're giving.
Oh,
so it's pretty simple. It's, what do you want? What are you willing to pay for it? Simple as that.
You know, I've heard something over and over again. Whenever they interview, who was the Canadian guy who got to be an astronaut? Forgot.
Oh, yeah.
When they interviewed him, he said, "I'm just an average guy, but I wanted it so bad I kept at it."
Exactly.
And you said the same thing. You're just an average guy. In fact, you were last picked, last to get a scholarship.
Below average, yeah.
And every time, I remember seeing a video of Sir Edmund Hillary, and he said, "I'm not that great. I'm not a great climber. There's other people who climb way better than me. I just wanted that more than anybody else." And so it's easy for us to look up to people on the Olympic podium, let's say, and say, "Oh my gosh, I'd give my life to be there." But you guys did give your life to get there.
No, you wouldn't. They say that. They talk a good game. I'd give my life. We gave our life. Like I said, you know this, again, the story with my Achilles. It was my Achilles tendon that I injured in 88.
Right.
I ran a whole year, and literally after every training session, my teammates would pick me up and they would carry me back to the hotel or wherever we were, because I couldn't walk.
No.
I was in that much pain. I'd get a shot of cortisone or take some anti-inflammatories and get up and ice it and get up next day and go again.
Wow.
That's how bad you have to want something like that.
The greatest ballerina that Canada's ever produced, Karen Kane, she danced till like really late. I think it was in her 40s, something like that, and at world-class level. And when she retired, the reporter asked her, "Are you going to keep dancing in some way?" She said, "No, I'd like a pizza." Like, she wouldn't give herself a pizza for 40 years so she could stay thin enough to dance world-class.
That's what
she wanted. She was looking forward to a pizza for 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. As a dancer, and I tell these guys, like, for example, you know, they're out on a Friday night. I'm like, well, then how are you going to get up at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning? Like, don't you have any fun? I'm like, you know what fun is? It's when you stand up on the podium with a gold medal around your neck. That's fun. That's a hell of a lot more fun than going out with your friends on a Friday night. So it depends on what you think fun is. You know what I think fun is? I get up, like I said, you know me, I'm almost 60. I train 3, 4, 5 times a day with 20-year-olds. I bounce out of bed at 5:30 every morning, and I feel great. I can't remember the last time I didn't feel good. These guys are coming to the track or to the weight room, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so sore. This hurts and that hurts." I'm like, I don't know what that feels like. I've never in the last 30 years felt bad. I don't even think I've been sick in the last 5 or 10 years.
Even if you feel bad, you get out there and do it anyways.
Like, if I do, but I don't. That's the thing. I feel great.
Wow. So you're training along with kids who are almost world class, and you're doing the training with them, and you take 3 or 4 or 5 of them a day, and they're pooped after doing once a day, and you're 60.
Yeah, exactly.
That is, you know, I look up to you so much, my dear friend.
Well, I think it is. You know, it's always, again, you've known me for long enough now. It's always been a passion of mine. And, you know, to me, two of the things that people want in this world: wealth, they come to you; health, they come to me. I think I trump you, especially now with COVID going on. Health is the most important thing in the world. Like, all these people with money are stuck at home, just like the rest of us. But they're the two things that people look at most. And I like to feel healthy and strong and fit, and get up every morning like I want to live.
I'm sure you have seen the best sports movie of all time, Rudy.
A long time ago. It's been a while.
Yeah. So Rudy was this uncoordinated kid who couldn't play football, never picked on the kids' football teams, and he wanted to play for Notre Dame. And also, he wasn't very bright. So to play for Notre Dame, you first have to get into Notre Dame academically, and then you have to get onto the team athletically. And he had no chance for either. And he worked harder than anyone. And in the very last game of the very last season, the coach led him onto the field in the very last play. And he is the only player on Notre Dame football team who has ever been carried off the field. Sorry, I said it wrong. In triumph, carried off the field.
Not injured. Yeah, you're not injured. Yeah.
Yes, he played one. What's it called? One play, and they retired his number.
Yeah. Well, again,
and he was below average academically, and way below average in football.
Yeah.
And yet, huge success. Huge success. And I want you not to just give a chat on this Facebook Live. I want you to come with me to totally inspire our attendees at Mastery of Greatness. I'm holding an event this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 25, 26, 27. And it's 3 solid days, and it should be $997, but at the moment, it's no charge. You can go to masteryofgreatness.com. We have a platform that can accommodate 2,000 attendees, and we're very close to 2,000 right now. We can't go over 2,000. The system won't allow it. And so if you go to masteryofgreatness.com, I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's free. When you go there and register, if you see an ordinary white screen asking you for name and email address, then get in immediately. There's no charge. But if it's a red screen that says sorry, that means we've hit our maximum and you won't be able to attend. So you can go open up another screen, go to masteryofgreatness.com and register, because you don't want to be late. And who's going to be there? Wait till you see this. Brian Tracy, who is the absolute world king at the psychology of success. Dr. John Gray, who is the absolute master of relationships. He wrote the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And when I interviewed him yesterday, he said something very, very funny. I think you'll like this, Mark. He said, because people are cloistered really close together for months and months, when the lockdown is over, there's either going to be a mad rush for maternity wards or for divorce court.
I take the second one on that one.
So he's going to teach us how to have spectacular relationships. And he was in the movie The Secret. Laurel Langmeyer was also in the movie The Secret. She's called The Millionaire Maker. And when you become a client of hers, she writes down the date that you joined. She writes down the date that she made you a millionaire, and then she subtracts. And her record is something like 9 months, not homeless, father, a single mom with 4 kids with basically no income, was a millionaire in 9 months. She's really super powerful. And because you have to take your business online these days, I've got the greatest internet marketer in Europe and the greatest internet marketer in North America, both on the show, and the amazing Mark McKoy. So you've got mindset from Mark, you've got internet marketing on both sides of the Atlantic. You've got Laurel Langmeyer, the millionaire maker. You've got Dr. John Gray on relationship, Brian Tracy on success. I'm going to be teaching branding. I've got a lot of new material. I'm really, really excited. It's going to be 3 solid days, and I've reduced the fee to 0. I don't know how long I can keep it at 0, but it's 0 right now if you go absolutely right now. So, Mark, what differentiates, like, can you tell? Yeah, let's say it that way. When you see a person who comes to you for training and they can afford it and you're accepting them and they have a clear goal like get to the NFL or get into the Olympics or something, can you tell by looking in their eyes or something, can you tell if they've got the it inside them that's going to get them up every morning and no excuses?
Absolutely. I can usually tell within a few days. Oh, for sure. And I always say, I listen with my eyes. Because, in my business, you hear this all the time. I want this, I want this, I want to lose weight, I want to make it to the Olympics, or I want to make it to the NHL. And don't tell me, show me. Just show me. I have 2 rules for my guys. Show up is rule number 1. Number 2, keep showing up.
Wow.
That's a simple. It's hard, but it's simple. It's so simple. I'll give you a quick story about so I had this very high level tennis player, 2 of them. Their trainer, the tennis coach, came to me and said, "Mark, they need to get faster, they need to get stronger, they need to get fitter. Can you work with them?" And I'm like, you know what? I'm really full right now. I don't really have much time. He goes, "Oh, please." No, they just kept begging and coming. I'm like, okay, you know what? Tomorrow, 4:00. Just bring them in, and I'll see what they're like, and we'll see if we can fit them in. They came at 4:10. I said, get out of the gym. Don't ever come back. I fire people all the time. Like that. Those are the little things. Like if I'm 5 minutes early, I'm late. You're begging me to train you, and you show up 10 minutes late on your first day. Sorry. Those are the same things you see with people. Like you don't have to say anything. I can just see by the things they do, by the excuses they make.
Wow.
Like I said, just lower the bar. What do you want? You want to make the Canadian national team in tennis? How about we try for the local area team? Because that's as far as you're going to make it. Because like you said, it's all attitude. It's not, I don't care how much talent you have. If you're not showing up on time.
But you can change mindset. You can't change build.
I won't accept people who don't want it already. Like if people come in, parents come to me all the time. Oh, you got to push him. No, I don't. I don't. I'm like, even sometimes I'll here's the workout, and I'll just leave them. Don't want to do it? Don't do it. My coach was the same. My coach, Malcolm, who I've talked about many times.
Yeah.
He was hardly at training. He's like, Mark, here's the workout, guys. You want to be good? You do it. If you don't want to be good, Mark, you can go back home to Canada. This is not rocket science. This is, we're not sending a man to the moon here. It's not heart surgery.
So let me tell you what happened to me. I was in training for a 100-kilometer ultra marathon, and I wasn't getting any better. And so I went to a local fitness club and I said, I'm not a member of the club, but can you recommend a trainer? Do you have trainers here? And they said, yeah, we do. We have one woman, but you got to be ready for her. I said, all right, I'm ready. No, you got to be ready. I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll do whatever she says. Okay, so give me the key to your front door. What? So I gave them my key. I gave them my credit card. And after that, he said, you got one chance to get your key back. And here's the deal. She will be at your home at 6 a.m. You are either on the front porch, no matter what the weather is, stretched and ready in your jogging stuff, or she will open the door, walk in, pull you out of bed, bare naked, in your pajamas, she couldn't care less, barefoot, she couldn't care less. You're going to do the workout bare naked in your pajamas, barefoot. Mark, I set 6 alarm clocks. I wasn't going to take any chances. I was scared stiff. I was there half hour early. I was stretched. I was ready, no matter what the weather. And so then they said, here's your last chance. Do you want your key back? I said, I'm going to do it. And so my mindset dramatically improved because she set the bar higher and I was willing to go there. So what's your comment on that? Would I have been unable to do it on my own, or what's your comment?
Well, again, there are so many different levels of, and I'm going to talk about this on the weekend. is I say there's 3 levels. There's making the Olympic team, which, is a phenomenal feat in itself.
Yeah.
But that's step 1. Like thousands of people make the Olympics, and after they run one race, they're done. They'll never see a quarterfinal, semi. They never advance. The amount of training that you need to go from making the team to making the final, for example, is exponential.
Wow.
And that, if you want to make it, again, it depends on what you want. So you really wanted it, and you have there's different types of trainers out there. There's ones that are going to grab you and yell at you and push you. I'm not that guy. I'm that guy who, I'm very similar. That's why I get along with Malcolm so well. It's like, I know what's going to make, I don't think anybody on the planet can argue that what we did, not just me, because my whole group was, Colin and everybody else I trained with, and most guys who have been in an Olympic final are dedicated and talented and all that type of stuff. But they have to want to do it. So with my philosophy, and it's very similar to Malcolm, is I'm not here to make you great. I'm here to show you the path. There's no doubt that what we did worked. There's absolutely no doubt what we did worked. But you have to do it. If you don't have that inside, I can beat you. I can yell at you. It's not going to happen.
I know, but I want you to answer my question. I felt that I didn't have it inside. And so I went to this gym and just asked for help. And after like 10 minutes of explaining this thing with this lady, I said, oh my God, I am there. So what happened?
Just from knowing you, I know you have it inside. Like, you're the type of guy, I've heard all of your stories from your first book to your real estate. Like, you have it inside you to be the best. So even though you were scared into it, you already had it in you. I'm sure there's lots of people who say, give me my key back.
Yeah, I bet.
But probably 90% of the people say, no, I'm not signing up for that. You already had it in you. You wanted it. You just needed a push.
That woman probably coached like you do, that she only wants to take winners. She doesn't want to have to drag people there.
Exactly. And so I guess that's why they do the scare tactics up front, because make sure that you want. I had a guy call me for 6 months once, and he just showed up at the gym one day, and he goes, don't you ever call people back? He goes, I've been trying, just because I was just a businessman. I just wanted to work out and be fit. And I'm like, yeah, I got your calls. I just wanted to see if you were serious.
Wow.
I walked in. I'm like, okay, I'll train you now because you actually came and showed up after all this time of trying to get me. So it's just me. There are tons of trainers out there, and there are guys who are really good at driving people. I like to work with people who are driven, and I have some of those. I have a couple of those.
I have heard your talk, and I can't wait to hear it again.
You're not sick of it yet, Raymond?
Pardon me?
You're not sick of it yet?
No, are you kidding?
I'm sick of it, and I've heard it.
I want to tell everyone a really funny story. In the days before coronavirus lockdown, I was giving a very big presentation in Calgary, Alberta, and I invited Mark McKoy to be one of the presenters on stage to liven the audience and, get them excited and focus their mindset. And he said, Calgary, do you know that Calgary is the location of the track and field, the Canadian Track and Field Hall of Fame? And he said, and I, Mark McKoy, was the very first inductee into it because I was the first Canadian gold medalist in 60 years. And I've set 2 world records. I said, oh, wow, let's see it. We couldn't find it. Canada is so...
not much of an Olympic or anymore. We're not a sports country outside of hockey.
No, it's not about sports. It's about mindset. Like in the United States, the U.S. Track Hall of Fame would be this gigantic building. There'd be spotlights on it at night. It would be big. We couldn't find it. We phoned Ottawa to find the location of it. They didn't know where it was. The Canadian Athletic Association didn't know where the Hall of Fame was. So
crazy.
We have low self-esteem.
Cab drivers, everything. Nobody knew where it was.
Oh my gosh, and it had to exist because you were there.
It's there somewhere in some building, in some basement somewhere, probably. Yeah.
Wow. So let me talk about the Mastery of Greatness. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, once a year, huge event, my biggest event of the year. In the very first time we ever did it, my guest speaker was the Prime Minister of Canada. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. Since then, I've had Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've had Steve Wozniak. I've had huge, great speakers, Jack Canfield, Dr. John Gray, and this time I'm just blowing the whole field away because on top of having amazing speakers, my dear friend Les Brown has made a special presentation and sent it to me and asked me to give it for free to everyone who attends. My dear friend Robert Kiyosaki, the greatest wealth teacher of all time, has made a very special presentation for you, and he's given it to me. I've already got it, and I'm going to give it to you. My dear friend, one of my dearest friends, Jack Canfield, star of the movie The Secret, author of Success Principles, co-author of the entire Chicken Soup for the Soul series of books. He's made a special gift that he's given to me and I'm going to be giving to you. And Bob Proctor, who's actually a fellow Torontonian and a neighbor of mine, the grandfather of the entire personal growth industry, he has sent a gift and invited me to give it to everybody. So not only will you see in person Brian Tracy, Dr. John Gray, Laura Langmeyer, Mark McKoy, and two of the greatest internet marketers in the world, but on top of that, you're going to be getting gifts from Les Brown, Robert Kiyosaki, Jack Canfield, and Bob Proctor. It's an amazing show. Just go to masteryofgreatness.com. Masteryofgreatness.com. 3 days, September 25, 26, 27. We're recording it today, which is Wednesday. It starts in 2 days. And I am so excited. Mark is excited.
Can't wait.
Go ahead.
I said, I can't wait.
So leave us with one last word of wisdom, my friend.
Me? You're talking to the wrong guy here, buddy. From what I've seen, especially in the last couple of years, is don't try to overcomplicate things. It's dedication. It's consistency of doing something. That's all it is. It's like compound interest. If you do something, whatever it is, in whatever field it is, consistently, day in, day out, you just have to stick with it long enough. It's going to happen. Like if you can wait for 16 years, if I had some advisors like yourself at the time, it might have taken me half the time. But you can have anything you want if you don't overcomplicate things. But you got to be a man of your word. If you say, do what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it, the way you say you're going to do it. Again, not my quote, but I love it.
I really admire you. I really, really admire you. I look up to you. I'm honored. Oh, here's my wife. Come and say hello to Mark McKoy.
Hey, I haven't seen Karen forever.
Yeah, come and say hello to Mark McKoy.
But are you live on something?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. He doesn't tell me that I'm live on something.
Hey, Karen, how are you?
I brought my earplugs. All I heard was like, Mama. Mama.
So good to see you.
Our only friend who has a world record. He's our only friend that has an Olympic gold medal.
Look at him. He's trying to get in there.
You need more friends, buddy.
Do you know you said a really funny thing in the, bye, Karen.
You go, ba. Just say, Mark, just say, quiet, Raymond, quiet.
Love you, darling.
Bye.
In the days when we actually got together live in hotels, when we took pictures, when my participants all got pictures with you, you were so generous. You took your gold medal off from around your neck and you put it on their neck. And so they got a picture of you with your gold medal around their neck. And they were so honored. It was such a startling benefit they could never even have thought of beforehand. And I said to you, aren't you worried with all these people having your precious gold medal around your neck? And you said, I can run faster than them.
Where are they going? And if they don't, I can also hurdle over stuff to get to them as well. So
that's right. You could hurdle over anything and outrun them.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear your talk again. And I know you're going to be the hero of the show. And when I get the feedback forms, there's superstars. I mean, there's other superstars that are world famous, but you get better feedback than some of those superstars. I mean, you do a brilliant job, really.
Yes. I'm coming in again.
Yeah.
I'm coming in.
No.
Yep, go ahead.
Thanks, guys. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Really am.
I've seen you present, and you're always like, I was going to say my favorite, but then I exclude others. So pretend I said one of my favorites.
That's good enough for me.
Okay.
That's good enough for me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I love hearing you speak.
If I gave out gold medals, you'd get one. Okay, my friend. Thank you so much.
I will see you on the weekend.
Enjoy you and admire you. And I'm looking forward to getting re-inspired. Even if I've heard your words before, listening to you is going to re-inspire me, and I'm really excited by it.
Thanks for inviting me again, Raymond. Love you too. And I can't wait to see you on the weekend.
Thank you. Now, I don't know how to. Oh, I can remove you. Yes. So I'm going to remove you. I'll say goodbye, and then I'll keep talking for a few more minutes.
Take care.
Bye. See you on the weekend.
You too.
Wow. Mark McKoy, double world record holder, and one of his world records is still standing 34 years later. There is no sprint record that has ever lasted for 34 years. And he got an Olympic gold medal in his 5th Olympics. It's unheard of. No one's ever done that. He's my hero. I admire him. When my daughter, who was about 14 years old at the time, wanted to do better in the mile race, she ran a mile race on the first day of school, and they timed her. And then on the last day of school, they time her again to see what the improvement was. So the day before the last day of school, she said, "Dad, I want to do better." I said, "It's too late. You got to practice like for the whole year." She said, "No, help me. You know everybody." And I called Mark McKoy. And even though he'd been training people for hours all that day and was exhausted, he said, "Okay, meet me at the field." And so I drove her at the field, and he gave her some really good advice, and she dramatically improved her time. Anyways, I have lots of connections with him, and pretty soon you're going to have a great connection with him too. Masteryofgreatness.com, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 25, 26, 27, the year of the lockdown, 2020, the year of the lockdown. And we will have great speakers there. Laurel Langmeyer, the millionaire maker and star of the movie The Secret. Dr. John Gray, the greatest relationship expert in the world and star of the movie The Secret. And Brian Tracy, the expert on the psychology of success, plus 2 of the greatest internet marketers in the world teaching you how to take your business online, and Mark McKoy on mindset. And me, I'm going to be talking to you about lots of things. I've created some new material, really like it. And I've got a gift for you from my friend Les Brown, and I have a gift for you from my friend Robert Kiyosaki, and I have a gift for you from my friend Jack Canfield, and I have a gift for you from my friend Bob Proctor. All you need to do is read this. Learn how to take parts of your business online to generate lots and lots and lots of additional income right now. And where do you go? You go to masteryofgreatness.com. Do it right now, right now. I love you. I will see you there. I will virtually hug you, which will be COVID compliant. Virtually, there'll be people. There's people from all continents except Antarctica who've already registered. We're getting several hundred enrollments every day. That's up to yesterday. Today, it might be 500 a day. And get in now. If you go to masteryofgreatness.com and it's a red screen that says sorry, then we can't allow you in because we're already at our technological maximum. But if it's still like a white background with a space to put in your name and email address, then you're in. So congratulations. I will see you September 25, 26, 27 in the year of our Lord COVID 2020. 3 days. I love you. I'll see you there. Virtual hugs. Masteryofgreatness.com.